in the garage today. We've had like 3 straight days of rain, and it's raining right now. But I'm actually not working on the bike. We're in that weird part of the year right now where it can either be 75 and sunny, or we could be buried under 12 inches of snow. So the bike's kind of sitting for now. Like, we had 2 real good weekends of racing in a row, and that totally got me like re-excited about racing after the terrible start to the year that we had, where I just wanted to sell everything. But I don't want the stuff I want to do to the bike, but I don't want to tear into it right now because there's a chance we could get a good stretch of weather coming up here and I'll be able to go racing. If I tear into it now and I miss out on that opportunity, and then the weather goes to crap for good for the year, I missed out on some last minute opportunities to race. And next week, Thursday, there's actually a track rental going on that I signed up, or paid to get into. So I took off of work week, Thursday we'll be down there testing, and I'm going to try to lean on this thing a little bit given that the weather stays good. After that point, it's looking like we're going to have a real early winter kind of up here. So the bike's just kind of on hold. It's totally running and functional after I did the head gasket. Everything checks out. We're good to go racing with it. But I just don't want to tear into nothing right now, just kind of playing the weather. So we're going to do something a little bit different for this video, because being a one-man show and not having a ton of money and having, just a couple bikes that we go racing with, just focusing on the bikes doesn't make for a lot of content. That's why there's so much time between my videos, is because I don't have anything to do to them all the time. And also I got a bunch of property and a house and stuff I'm trying to maintain, and now we're trying to get stuff kind of ready for winter's coming, and but I got something kind of fun I'm going to do today. So I'll go show you what I got going on. So I've been in my house. It'll be 3 years next month. And I got just under 2 acres out here. So it's not huge, but I'm just outside of the city enough that I can have a little bit of land, and it's a lot to maintain for one person, especially because I like doing stuff with the property. But about half of my property was really overgrown and wooded. And in fact, I think the previous owners, judging by what I've been finding as I've been kind of working on the property, the previous owners, I think, were just taking all their yard waste and garbage and everything else and just kind of running it back into the woods here and dumping it. Because I've been finding bags of garbage, and there's just brush piles. Every time they clean up the yard, they must have just brought it back into the woods and dumped it. So I decided after my first year here that I wanted to start cleaning the property up and making use of my almost 2 acres. So I decided that I kind of wanted to make a park. So I took my lawnmower and drove it into the woods. Just started driving in between trees and mowing and mulching and cutting stuff down, and that's where we're at today. So I'll show you. I've been back here. I've had the park mowed in for a while now, and I also have a bunch of trails cut in, and then I got a couple deer feeders. I got a bunch of deer that come back here, and it's actually like really cool to just kind of watch them. I'm not a hunter. I'm not against it. I'm just not a hunter. I just like kind of watching the wildlife. But I'll show you what I got going on, and then where I'm kind of going with this. So obviously I have a kangaroo crossing sign, because when you see something like that on the side of the road by someone's garbage bin, you pick it up. But anyways, I've been back here monkeying around, but as you can see, it's probably hard to tell on camera how big it is back in here. But so the house is back over there, but I got a trail cut in over there that goes along that tree line, edge of my property, whatever. I got all of this has been cleared out, and then I got trails cut in back there. There's a little water bucket and a feeder for the deer. But a couple years back, we had a windstorm come through, and there's some trees back here that were dead. Well, they got uprooted and fell into the good live trees. So there's 2 dead trees here. Well, I came back here, decided I wanted to start chopping wood. So I used an axe and chopped these 2 trees down. You can see where I dropped them here. And then I don't have a chainsaw. I used to have a chainsaw before I had a house, because I decided I wanted to help everybody else kind of maintain their property. When trees would fall down, storms would go through, I'd help them clean up, cut up stuff. Well, it got to the point where the chainsaw was kind of just sitting, and I gave it away. Somebody else got to have it. But then I bought my house, and now I have a bunch of land with a bunch of woods and trees. So you can see I've been back here. Where this tree was, I have a fire pit in the yard over there, but I wanted one back in the woods. And eventually I got plans for this back here, but I started kind of stoning a ring around that stump. Eventually I'll burn it out. That's going to be the fire pit for back here. It's just remnants from where I was chopping stuff. But I'll show you what I got. So like I said, since I didn't have a chainsaw, I decided to start going chainsaw shopping. Ended up at local hardware stores and big box places and whatever, and I just wasn't in the mood to spend $300+ on a chainsaw. There's other things with the bike stuff and house stuff, whatever, that I'm like $300 for a chainsaw, $400 for some of them. Like, I can't do it. And then I started looking on Marketplace. Marketplace is full of idiots, and I absolutely just hate trying to even think about buying something off of Marketplace. Even if it actually is a good deal, I'm not going through effort to figure it out. Marketplace can fuck off. People on Marketplace can fuck off. If you sell stuff on Marketplace, you can fuck off too. But I literally hopped on the old Amazon during their special deal sale thing they've been having going on, and I bought not the cheapest, but one of the cheapest 20-inch two-stroke chainsaws I could find. It had, of the 20-inch saws I could find, it had the most good reviews. It had actually all really good reviews. And again, it's just China knockoff stuff. I don't care. I'm going to cut trees with it and it'll be fine. But there was other saws that were cheaper. This is $135. So there was other saws this size, 20-inch bar, were cheaper, $100 or so. But they actually, some of the reviews I was reading had some stuff in there and some issues with them that I didn't really feel like having to deal with. Could have been lucky and got a good one. I wasn't going to deal with it. So I found the one that had the most positive reviews and very few negatives about it and bought it. So this is what we're working with. It showed up yesterday while it was raining. It sat outside in the rain. Luckily, the delivery guy kind of put it under the overhang of my house so it didn't get super wet in the box. But it comes unassembled, obviously, in that cardboard box. It's not assembled, and they don't give you a nice plastic carry case for it. Probably just easier to box these things up and ship them that way. It comes with a little bar cover. But this is the guy. It actually, I was just at the hardware store today, and it is almost a twin to what I'm seeing as a 20-inch Troy-built saw. Everything from the plastic housings to the pull start to where the air filter and stuff is, the handle. Chainsaws are all pretty universal, I think, at this point. But it's very, 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 very close to what a Troy-built looks like. But it's a pretty neat unit. I already gassed it up, fired it up. I just finished putting bar oil in it, and I think we're gonna go take this thing for a test drive. I got a shit ton of wood back there to cut. It's raining today, so we're just gonna start plowing through some wood and see how it does. Kind of a full-on workout, and we'll see what happens. The only thing I can say right now offhand that I'm not thrilled about is there's no primer bulb for starting it. A little squirt, squirt, pull it and start it. So I just choked it and pulled on it 4 or 5 times, and it actually fired up pretty easy. Hopefully in time it stays that easy to start. It's not a whole lot to do for maintenance on these things, but like I said, everything seems pretty well put together for just being a knockoff chainsaw. But I think what we need to do right now is head out into the back 40, start cutting some trees. So what we got is I don't know what these are. I'm not an arborist or whatever tree guy. I think it's just an old oak. It's rotted pretty bad. The base of it was actually that was pretty hard to chop through, but visually looking at the tree, it's completely dead. But what I'm gonna do is start. It was probably a good 40 footer. I'm gonna start at the little end and just start whacking off chunks. We'll see how the saw does as we get down into the thicker stuff. Like I said, this stuff's all wet. There's nothing else to do today right now. We're canopied in. It's freaking beautiful back here. That's why I love coming back here, and that's why I want to make this into something. Because eventually we'll have the little fire pit, and I'll have some chairs and some things back here tied in. So if you just want to come back here and hang out, when the world's going to shit and work sucks, come back here and I can hang out in the woods and have a campfire. And I'm not far from home if I got to take a dump or whatever. But yeah, so yeah, I've got about a 40 footer we're going to chop up. And then this one here is probably about, I don't know, maybe 20, 25 foot, something like that. That's probably about maybe 12, 13 inches across at the base. This one's a little bit bigger, maybe 14, 16 inches, somewhere in there. So it should be just about, a perfect workout for the old China chop saw here. But for now, I'm excited to just get some chopping some wood, and then we might actually start splitting some stuff, and I want to start stacking. I got kind of an area in mind where I can have wood stacked out of the way, not far from the pit, so people want to keep feeding it, whatever. But in an ideal scenario, it'd be nice to have some little fall get-togethers. People come hang out. Kind of cool to do this up for Halloween because, like I said, the trails go way back there that I got mowed in. They all kind of zigzag around. It'd be kind of cool to do like a haunted Halloween trail kind of thing. You know, have people bring the kids out. You know, maybe in the years to come, this is all still pretty fresh to me and keeping this, you know, maintained and cleared. But for now, we're gonna do some zip sawing here. So I haven't run this thing since last night when I just fired it up. Had barely any gas in it and no bar oil. I just wanted to see if the thing would run after coming over on the slow boat. Super easy to like function. Choke it, flip it on. Now I haven't started this since last night, so no primer bulb. We'll see what happens. Ooh, she wants to go. All I'm going to say is right now I'm pretty happy with it. I don't know what, there's no specs on what chain came on the saw. That thing shits and gets. Grab a piece here. I mean, the tree is pretty rough from the outside, but I mean, you see my hand. That's a good 8-9 inches around, maybe. I'm gonna. I'm pretty stoked on that. I'm gonna hop down into the roughage. It's actually the neighbor's property down here. I'm gonna start trimming off some of the little shit and get back into the thicker stuff, and then probably start piling some of this stuff out of the way. Not gonna lie, if this thing took a shit right now and didn't start and ended up in the garbage can, I already got my $135 worth out of it. I've only been cutting for like 10-15 minutes, and I got almost this first entire tree chopped up. The next one is even smaller, so it's going to take even less time. But I mean, you can see the size. This is a 20-inch bar. I mean, it's ripping through some good sized stuff here. I'm kind of glad I went with a 20-inch. I was eyeballing some of the 14s and 18s, just smaller stuff, thinking my trees aren't that big, I ain't got that much property, it'll be just fine. But then I started thinking, I'm like, well, in this case, bigger is probably better, you know, other than, you know, buy once, cry once, whatever. I am super happy with this thing right now. For just being an Amazon China knockoff something or other, she rips. I'm going to finish cutting up what I got here, and then I'm probably going to split wood for a little while because it's still rainy and cold, and probably see my breath before, but I might start figuring out how I want to stack some of this wood, and I like chopping and splitting. It's like my winter workout. So we're going to go on and cleaning some of this up, and then we'll see where we're at. That thing is a beast. I'm maybe an hour into all of this. I even got one up the hill here that I freaking diced up that dropped a while back. That's like 3 full-size 20 to, like I said, that first one was almost 40-footer when I dropped it. Plus I had that extra little limb kicking off. So that's 3 full-size trees I just did. Probably 3/4 of the way through the second tank of fuel on it. And every time, first pull, cranks off and just rips. When I got towards the base of some of this bigger stuff down here, some of them suckers are getting 15-16 inches around, and it dug, it just went. I am more than impressed with this thing. Like I said, right now, if that thing sat right there for the rest of its life, I'd be fine with it because I got my money out of it. I wanted all that stuff diced up. I got it diced up for a saw that was probably about the third of a price of anything with a brand name on it. And if you don't like the China Sungel, whatever, something Cody, you don't like the name, go buy yourself a different bar. The bar's all interchanged. Get a bar with a different name on it and take the Chinese stickers off it. Tell everybody it's a Troy built. You can do whatever you want, you know. But yeah, I'm not a rich guy, and having property to clear, I'm glad I got away with a budget saw. I'm gonna keep cutting. There's a few more things now. That thing just keeps ripping, so I'm just gonna keep going. And I'm putting like minimal physical effort into the thing, and that a lot of that has to do with it has a new chain on it, but the chain's holding up really good. I made one adjustment so far on it just to retighten it, but it's got plenty of power. It's 58 cc, like 3.3 horsepower or something like that, they say. I'm running it on 110 octane leaded, and I'm mixing it 24-1, so it smells really good. It's well lubricated. She's a ripper. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep working out here, and I might take a break for lunch. Maybe I'll fill you in on my lunch. Everybody likes looking at food, right? But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna keep working away. It's the perfect day to be doing this stuff. It's cool, so I'm not getting overheated. And like I said, I'm putting minimal physical effort into actually cutting through the wood. I am wearing earmuffs because I'll put earbuds in when I'm not filming and listen to some music while I'm ripping. So that way the sound of the saw cutting into my bones is less traumatic to my ears. Just kidding. So far so good. All right, we'll check in a little bit. We'll see if I can start getting some wood stacked. The Sungel Amazon special chainsaw. 58cc. Pretty happy with this thing. So at this point, I am 3 full tanks of fuel through that thing, and it hasn't skipped a beat. It's like, obviously I'm down that far now, but I don't think the tank is super big, so I don't know if I'm really saying much. But yeah, 3 full tanks through it, hasn't missed a beat. I did decide with some of the bigger stump pieces on the end, the bottom side of the tree, to keep a few of them. I kind of cut the size and leveled them off. So I got a couple stumps that can rest our butts on while we watch fire for a little bit, until I get some. I got an idea for some chairs I want to make for back here. Something I can leave out in the elements, but stumps, they'll work for now, because I'm going to probably finish. I started splitting some stuff, but I'll split some more. I figured exactly. I'm still having a hard time deciding where I want to start stacking the wood. I don't want it to be a super far trek from the fire pit, but I kind of like to use like a couple trees for ends. I can pile between the trees. That was almost my original idea right here, to go between that tree and just start piling the wood up there. But I think I'm going to have more than what that little space would really support. So I'm thinking I'm going to go up in that area, find a couple trees there, and we'll kind of already diced up that tree. And then we'll just make a long wood pile so it doesn't have to get super tall. But I'm going to end up with a lot of stuff back here cut up. So I think that might be the answer, is just to go up the top of the hill there and start stacking it up there. But I'm going to go get a late lunch now, and then I'll come back and I'll put on some tunes and just keep splitting wood for the evening. So like I said, for now we got some stumps to sit on, but I got a good pile of burning wood piled up there. The not so great wood I started piling up there. It's more like it's wet and kind of rotty, and then some of the bigger chunks I'll put up there for splitting later. But this is all stuff here that I can throw on the fire right away. But this is all we got left. It's a little line of some of the bigger stumps I'll split. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. But before it got too dark, I had to go get a bucket of water and feed for my deer. I had 5 of them. So yeah, they were looking for food. I could get a bucket of water and some, I'll show you actually, my little feeder. Like I said, they hang around here all the time, and actually 2 of them were watching me chop wood, and it didn't seem to bother them at all. But this is a little bucket of water. There's one of them back here with a big rack, and if I don't have a full bucket of water, he can't get in to the bottom to get the water with his antlers, and he'll get mad and throw the bucket. It's kind of funny. But so I got to keep that water bucket kind of full for him. It's just something I do for fun. And there's a little feeder that I made. They'll come in here and dig out the bottom, and then that's like a funnel fill with a lid. So as they eat, it kind of comes out. But every couple days or so, I'll come out and fill that. It's kind of fun to watch them back here. But for now, I'm done splitting wood. I'm gonna go in the house and edit this video, have some chocolate milk, and watch the rest of No Mercy 14 tonight.